Welcome, friends, to the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour with your hosts, Sig Bisley and Colt Mauser. Before we get started, please be sure to like this video and subscribe for more content just like this. Now, let the animation appreciation commence.
Pretty slow on the anime front this week.
Yeah, it's that kind of in-between season lull. Not a lot of news. I don't know.
No news is good news. Isn't that what they said?
In a lot of cases, it is.
Lately, kind of.
You're not wrong.
Anyway, so what we got today? We're going to finish up our Get Into Gundam UC style.
Yep.
We're going to do a little chat about
Continuity and franchise handling.
Yeah, America versus base Japan, how they handle franchises,
little
continuity.
Gundam versus Star Wars, James Bond versus Lupin, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And then, speaking of Lupin, good segue, right?
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to get down on probably arguably the best Lupin movie.
Inarguably the best Lupin movie.
And my favorite Miyazaki movie.
My favorite Miyazaki movie as well. Although not my favorite Studio Ghibli movie because it is not a Studio Ghibli movie.
True. The Castle of Cagliostro.
Hell yeah.
Before we do any of that, you know what time it is. Fucking news.
Time for the news. What little of it there is, we will talk about it. So first thing, a little bit of good news. It's not something I'm really interested in, but I'm a sucker for cool reprints and collections of things.
I do.
Be it manga. I mean, I still kind of wish I had bought the giant collection of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, even if I would have never gotten around to watching all of it.
It was 112.
It was just so cool. I'm really hoping they do a not limited re-release, so at least I can pretend to get it. Although I could just watch it on High Dive. Whatever. I digress.
Sometimes it's nice to just own a big box of something.
Well, especially when streaming services are so unreliable with the things that they have on there.
Yeah, it is random.
So they're doing a reprint of the Area the Masterpiece.
Nice.
Specials Collector's Edition manga here. Right Stuff and Tokyo Pop teaming up. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Again, not a series, a manga I really particularly cared about. Not that I just don't know anything about it. I just caught my eye because I love when
Big
a small
boxes
group of people can bring back something that they enjoy and get a cool collector's edition or just a reprint or whatever.
Right Stuff is the shit for that.
They
They're
really
actually
are.
they're crowdfunding a redub and a re-release on Blu-ray of fucking
Hey.
What?
Why you gotta get ahead of the news?
Oh, that was in there. Sorry.
Why you gotta get ahead of the news
Sorry, I
like that?
spoiled
I
it.
know exactly what you're gonna say, and if I don't say it, then you can say it later.
Whatever.
Because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's right here. I know exactly what you're gonna say.
I'm extra excited about it because it's one of my favorite old-timey franchises.
We'll transition right to it. So, Aria, if you're into it, go check it out. Go support it. It's awesome that it's coming back just for people to like it. And I love companies that do this. Like you said, Right Stuff is so good for that. They've been...
Well, they just crowdfund stuff. That's awesome.
And they just...
If you're into it, throw your money at it, bam.
Since when could you buy all the Gundam in one place? All the Gundam. Right Stuff has it. Including that hype-ass collector's edition of G Gundam.
I always spend my money there instead of Amazon and shit just because I like the way they conduct their sales.
As much as I can. Only when I literally cannot get it there.
Fists of the North Star, all that shit. They brought all that stuff over. And
yeah.
DVD
Well,
and
and they team with people, too, because some of the stuff is Discotheque or some other stuff, but...
No, it's awesome.
And then Viz? Yeah, Viz, too. Viz is good. I was just looking at Fist of the North Star over here, the manga.
Yep.
I appreciate that.
That I never thought I'd get either, which is awesome.
I know. You young kids in your JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'll tell you something.
I'll tell you what.
I'll show you. Anyway, we will transition now to what you were about to say.
No, I want to be mad about JoJo's more. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it is what it is. Dirty Pair.
Yes.
As you were going to say.
Fucking Dirty Pair.
So Right Stuff and Nozomi
So
teaming,
good.
doing a Kickstarter for
so good.
an English dub for Dirty Pair. I personally don't care about an English dub for Dirty Pair, but I do care about getting awesome Blu-rays of Dirty Pair.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right? So I will...
I don't know if I would even... I don't remember that dub even being bad.
I haven't checked live to see if it's
I've watched it.
funded, but it's got to be by now. It was
I've
so close.
watched it both. Yeah, I'm definitely going to pick it up because that's my jam.
Yeah, obviously check it out.
I actually think I like all the old voice actors better. Like modern dubs, I don't know.
So Retro Crush and Crunchyroll both have they're both streaming it. So if you want to check it out, you could check it out a little bit if you're into it.
Oh, check out Dirty Pair.
I like Dirty Pair. It's cool. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Oh God, it's like the height of '80s.
But you can check it out, and then if you like it, hey, back this. Oh, and don't forget where their first appearance was. Don't you forget, Crush.
Yeah, man,
Crusher Joe, another super classic that we haven't talked about yet, so we got to throw that on the list.
Wasn't Crusher Joe a spinoff from oh shit, what was it? Because Crusher Joe was a spinoff of something else.
Was it? Dirty Pair is a spinoff of Crusher Joe. I don't know if...
Or was Crusher Joe a spinoff of Dirty Pair?
Dirty Pair is a spinoff of Crusher Joe.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't think Crusher Joe came out first. Maybe it's just because I saw it second.
Yes. Oh, yeah, because Crusher Joe we didn't get till way later. Dirty Pair was way more popular than Crusher Joe. But Crusher Joe is 83.
Huh. Interesting. I learned something today.
So it's, hey, I'm interested in this. Like I said, good Blu-rays for this I'm into. So go check it out. Check out Dirty Pair in general. Maybe we'll talk about it someday. Certainly talk about Crusher Joe at some point.
It's a hidden gem.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. It's, that girl power, except, not the cringe kind.
Yeah, because I don't know. All they do is fuck shit up. That's why they're called
pretty much.
That's why they're called
blow
Dirty Pair.
Blow up entire planets.
Oops.
They kind of operate like an Inquisitor in 40K. Like, so it's 4 billion lives. Don't worry about it.
Whatever.
Not a big deal.
It's all for the sake of comedy.
All right, moving on. So, here's a heartwarming story about how, unlike the garbage you're getting over here that won't inspire you to do anything except self-delete.
Delete.
In Japan, you got the Fire Force inspiring kids to, save people from burning buildings.
Pee on fires.
So the 18-year-old Japanese kid is going to get honored by the Kagoshima City Central Fire Department for, saving a kid from a burning building.
Pretty epic.
I mean, that's pretty good. Oh, no, it was a woman in her 70s. Sorry, it wasn't a kid. He was the kid. Woman in her 70s.
Even harder.
Yeah, either way, it's pretty cool.
He wants to hump an old lady down the stairs.
They just, he helped her put out the fire. Regardless, listen, it was probably like a tiny little grease fire and he helped her. But give the kid some credit. He remained calm and cool because of the Fire Force. You probably thought of that super hot chick. It's a Fire Force.
They should bring back...
she would look down upon me.
They should bring back PSAs, man.
Right.
That's like all Saturday morning cartoons were when we were kids.
It's sorry, folks. I've never actually watched Fire Force, I will admit.
There's PSAs. Yeah, I got around to it either.
I watched a lot of PSAs. Not because I wanted to.
There's too much stuff, man. I actually just started the last season of 86 just because the second season coming out and it looked good.
I haven't caught up on Black Clover. I haven't caught up on Hero Academy. I'm fucking behind on everything.
Black Clover has like 10-minute episodes.
Demon Slayer I'm at least caught up on.
Yeah.
Including Mugen Train.
I know.
Anyway.
Having a job sucks.
Yeah. Moving on. Theme park news. This is kind of cool.
Yay.
Universal Studios Japan is going to have a Pokemon project next year.
Ooh.
So, if you want to get your Pikachu on, what that means.
I do.
But they already have a Super Nintendo World going on. Now they're going to have Pokemon. I mean, it's cool. I mean, I don't know. I appreciate that.
Super Nintendo World. That sounds
right.
Amazing.
Listen, kids are going to like this stuff a hell of a lot more than, I don't know, whatever garbage is going on here at Disney World.
Oh, I don't know. It's such a disaster.
Oh, Disney is nothing but a disaster. They just keep shooting themselves directly in the dick. Endlessly.
Everything seems so good in 2012.
I know.
It was up. It was a rocket to the moon.
A rocket to the moon.
Everything was coming up Millhouse.
Hey, man, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you'll end up on the stars and, choking to death in the cold void of space. And they're choking to death in the cold void of space.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Anyway, not really a lot of news on what the hell it's going to look like, but pretty neat. I don't know. Some Pokemon World. I'm sure they'll do some cool stuff. Judging by the Nintendo stuff they've done already, they'll do some cool stuff.
I'm surprised it doesn't exist already, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Universal Japan will be on my list if I ever make it over to Japan just to check out Super Nintendo World, if nothing else. I don't care. I'm an old man. I'll check it out. Looks cool. All right, so more kind of video game news because that last one was kind of video game related, right?
Sure.
So Smash Brothers finally revealed their final character.
Ooh. Oh yeah, I read
for
that.
Smash Ultimate, and a lot of people are super excited. Some people are like
less than excited.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that excited because I never played these games. But from Kingdom Hearts, Sora. So a lot of people real happy. Disney actually, allowing them to use it. They probably charged them 8 arms and 5 legs.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you got Sora. I don't know. Listen, I'm not a huge fiend for Smash Brothers. I like it. I like to play it. I'm not.
I like to waste an afternoon on it.
Yeah, I'm not up there, doing tournaments or anything.
I suck too much.
Yeah.
I would lose terribly.
But anyway, last character's finally out. Kind of sad. Kind of wish there could be more, but I guess I got to start working on the next Smash so they can, This one's not even really new either, so it has been a while since you've had a truly new Smash game.
They've been dragging this one out forever.
Listen, the Switch is hey, we know none of you bought a frickin' Wii U, so here's all the Wii U ports so you can replay these games that you probably didn't play. No offense if you did buy a Wii U out there. It just, didn't sell a lot, and the Switch has sold a hell of a lot more, so they are smart as hell for cashing in on that. And
why would you not, right?
Yeah, why not? All right stuff. I talked about this. So last bit of news. The TM Network band has come back after 6 years away. They've done songs for Shark's Counterattack. So, that's cool. Again, it's another thing I don't know a lot about.
They're like Jam Project Light.
Yeah. They're not Jam Project, but to me, similar idea. They composed a bunch of songs. I don't know. I don't have much to say about them. I just saw that they were back and they did songs for Shark's Counterattack, and I'm like, that's cool.
And it's a slow news week.
I'm glad they're back. And that's how slow this goddamn news week is, because I'm talking about Aria and TM Network. I got nothing, man.
I got a shovel out, and we are digging. Digging deep.
Digging deep. Well, before I dig myself my own freaking grave, I think we should move on, perhaps, to some Gundam discussion.
Yeah, we should.
All right, so when we last left off, if you remember, we plowed all the way through Gundam Narrative.
Yeah.
Right? So we did...
Yeah, because we got through...
Double Zeta, Char's Counterattack...
Unicorn,
and Narrative, right?
Yep.
And good God, watch Unicorn. It's awesome. But...
Can't say it enough.
I do love Unicorn. I liked it even better the second or third. I think it was the third time, but the last time I watched it, I liked it even better than the times before. So now let's talk about Hathaway first. So Hathaway, the newest one, just came out on Netflix, a couple months ago?
A couple months ago, yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. I have no complaints.
I expected nothing, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I was worried a little bit because the original story
is shitty.
Yeah, and the main character is Hathaway, who I hate.
There's a lot of shitty going on.
Didn't really like him in Char's Counterattack. He killed Chan.
Yeah, not the most popular guy.
Not the most popular guy around. Well, he's probably just an assassin for Beltachika. My secret theory.
It's a good one. Got my tinfoil hat on.
My other theory is this. Well, I don't think it's much of a theory. I still think the girl in this is in Hathaway is Beltachika's kid. Beltachika and Amuro's kid.
Oh, makes sense, yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
I think it would kind of have to be.
We'll find out, I suppose.
She's an extra retard new type.
So, yeah, they're really starting to bridge the gap now. So, this is, was it UC 106, 107?
It's in there, yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it was a couple months ago, so it's not on the top of my brain, but it's 112. It's somewhere, it's in between.
Watch it and find out.
F91, which is like 121-ish.
Yeah.
And after Narrative, which is UC, 0097, 98. So Hathaway's grown up. He was a teenager in Char's Counterattack. He's now grown up. And he's the leader of a terrorist organization. I guess you can call him a terrorist organization.
They're like weird eco-fascist assholes.
Yeah, they're kind of eco-fascist. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's the unending Gundam trope of like, we got to remove all the people from the planet so we can heal, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Like, so let's just murder all the people because that's how you get them off the planet.
Yeah, pretty much. Listen,
fucking dumb.
Gundam villains aren't so smart.
So anyway, he's the opening part is really cool. Where like the fake, so he's Mafty.
Yes.
And
oh yeah, the whole on the plane.
The guy on the plane
thing,
with the jack-o'-lantern mask.
Yep.
That was jack-o'-lantern mask or was skull mask? It was jack-o'-lantern mask.
Yeah. It was basically pretending to be him.
Pretending to be him, but he's on the plane too, so he knows it's not him. And the colonel there.
Yes.
The other the Fedi. So the Federation is back basically in charge.
Character.
You know, we've gotten past Neo Zeon and more Neo Zeon and Sleeves from Unicorn. Like we're now in the kind of in-between period. And obviously this has to get to some point where Crossbone Vanguard exists, where it's a little more, you know, rich royalty kind of going on. Sorry, we got to pause for a cat assault. Anyway.
Yep, 15 minutes. He's already attacking my arm.
That's what he does. It's just a really cool scene. They hijack this like space plane coming in, and then they get blown the fuck out by Mafty and
by the guy that they were pretending to be, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. And then you get I think, I don't want to get into too much, like, there's a lot of debriefing and stuff from that. There's a lot of talking in it, don't get me wrong, it's not solid action.
Yeah.
When it gets to the attack on the city, and they're like, all the like Federation officials are in one place, and they're just like murdering them in their by like blowing up their hotels and killing them.
It's an audacious plan.
It's a fantastic scene because you get to see a mobile suit battle from, because Mafty fucking Hathaway is just running away.
Yeah.
And so you get to see it
from the ground
level.
Yeah.
And just how terrifying it is to be in the middle of a mobile suit battle in a city when you're at ground level. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they've done that in other shows, but they knocked it out of the park.
That's some Godzilla shit. Like,
it's ridiculous. It's so good.
And it's so shiny. Love new animation.
Very shiny. And they obviously the mechs are going to be digital, but much like with Origin, they did a good job. They look good.
Mechs are better in digital. It's like people that's the problem, you know what I mean?
Yeah, as long as they're detailed enough, it works.
And the problem with digital is money. I mean, let's not split hairs here. Like, good, expensive digital animation looks amazing.
Yeah, you're also correct.
Which is why, like, every episode of Futurama was like $1 million.
Yeah,
back like 20 years ago.
But anyway, Hathaway, it's super glitzy. Now it's part one of a trilogy, so you don't get like a satisfying ending or anything.
No. But I don't know. I wasn't expecting one.
You got crazy looking Gundams in this. The Penelope and the She. They're just
super weird shit.
They are really weird looking. They have Gundam heads, but other than that, they are fucking crazy. They're like half mobile armor looking. Like,
yeah, they're wild.
Just the other mobile suit designs are really cool too. I love the guys with like the ridiculous patrol mobile suit, and it had like it
was weird.
There's some cool stuff. It's bridging the gap. It's hard to say too much about it. I'm just gonna say watch it. It's a freaking movie. It's not gonna take you that long to watch. It looks great,
and it's the first of like 3, so you got.
It's the first 3. So you got exactly. You got 2 more to look forward to.
God knows I need something to look forward to.
I know. Tell me about it.
Anyway,
we'll move on from Hathaway. We'll jump ahead and we'll very briefly touch on F91, and only because we've done a whole review of F91. But F91.
We'll put a link in the description.
Is 120. Oh man, you're making work for me.
Sure to do it.
So in F91, it's many years later. Again, you have Seabook, which is going to be the new pilot. He's in his colony. He's a student or whatever, and I don't even know if he's a student. He's just working part-time.
100% standard Gundam plot.
Yeah, and then the colony gets attacked, and the Crossbone Vanguard, they have some of the coolest fucking mobile suits ever. Yeah, come in and they just wreck shop. And the Fetties they're with like, it's not even Unicorn era shit, man. They have like Char's counterattack era Gigans and stuff.
It's like
very
a
big
backwoods ass colony.
Yeah, so they have old
never
stuff.
Never get attacked for any reason.
In Gundam, like the mobile suits were getting bigger and bigger. Like the original Gundam's like 18 and a half meters. Then by Char's counterattack, you're talking like 22, 23. So they get bigger, not like hugely bigger, but they get bigger. There are some that are enormous, but that's, kind of the standard mobile suit size. And then in F91, they shrink. And the smaller ones, they're like 12 to 14 to 16, depending.
They're supposed to be small and fast.
They're smaller, they're faster, and more powerful, right? So the whole idea is they're more advanced.
Yeah.
I think Japan was on the like, miniaturization kick, right? Like everything's getting smaller. So come to find out,
very 90s of them.
They're there to freaking kidnap away Cecilia, who is actually Bararona.
Yeah.
The heir to like the Ronas who run the Crossbone Vanguard, right?
Yeah.
So her uncle's there to get her. Or was it her father? It was her father.
Yeah.
Iron Mask was her father.
Yes.
Yeah. So, they go in the colony. They kidnap her. Freaking, they flee to another nearby colony because colonies usually in groups. There's more than one.
Yeah.
There's some brutal deaths here, like kids getting smashed against walls, all sorts of horrible stuff. Seabook ends up, going to the nearby colony with the kids. They end up on a training, like a white base, basically, like a Fetty training ship.
Yep.
Which is actually fairly advanced, and it's got the F-91 on it, which is a new Gundam. It's pretty hype. That was made by Seabook's mom.
Spoiler, Seabook's mom made it.
Seabook's mom made it. But yeah, it's still one of my favorite Gundam designs. I love the friggin' F-91. It's got those VSBRs. It's got the beam shield. Like, it's just badass.
It's a Ferrari, baby.
It's a Ferrari of Gundams. Like, it is cool as shit.
Fast and sexy.
Yeah, and eventually he and Cecily, not Cecilia, Cecily. He and Cecily like hook back up together and do business. Take out Iron Mask.
Fuck Iron Mask.
Good stuff. Makes me want a whole series, which we said before. Makes me really want them to just animate Crossbone, please. Like, that would be great.
I can't say it enough.
Because Crossbone is like, hey, what if it was like, 15 years later and they had awesome pirate mechs? Like,
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds awesome to me.
Yeah, I can't argue. The manga's good. I don't know if you can buy it, but it's around.
Yeah, I'm not over here anyway. I'm sure you can get a Japanese copy.
Yeah, I do.
I don't think it was ever actually translated, but it was fan translated. I don't know. If it was ever
I've read
officially.
the fan translation. That's all.
Anyway, F-91, cool. I won't say anymore. We'll go watch our other episode if you want to talk more about it. But now we're bridging gaps, right? So now we're going to jump ahead again. And we're going to jump all the way to UC, 152, 153, 151. It's Victory Gundam.
Oh, Lord.
So it's a long-form Gundam series. I would say it's the last true UC long-form series. I mean,
yeah.
we'll talk about G-Reco and we'll talk about Turn A, which are technically UC, but they're not really UC, so
they're like 8 billion years in the future.
Yeah, you're talking about 1,000-year time skips,
it has nothing to
not
do
20,
with
30, 40-year time skips, So, Victory Gundam. Oh boy, Victory Gundam.
I held out so long.
You did. I finally made you watch
I wanted nothing to do with it. And then finally,
It's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. It's very inconsistent. Much like it's got a lot of similar problems to Double Zeta.
Yeah.
Where it's very inconsistent at times. The tone can vary wildly. It's not as silly as Double Zeta, and it's way darker than Double Zeta at times.
It really is, because there's like nothing left of Earth.
And so this is where you really start to feel like, good God, there's nobody left to fight these fucking wars.
Yeah, it's not. There's like this. It's like this half-assed.
Like Earth has kind of regressed to like where's a city? Like there are all these small freaking towns.
Yeah, like villages and shit.
Villages and shit, right? It looks,
there's towns that approach cities, but not like a city.
Yeah, there could be cities. Don't get me wrong. It's just you don't see them, and the assumption is they've been decimated. The population's been decimated.
Yeah, it's like nothing.
And the main pilot is Uso, who's what 12 or 13.
Yeah, I think he's like 12.
Very young, the youngest Gundam pilot to that point. I think there's been younger ones since then in other series, but I think he's still the youngest UC pilot.
Yeah, probably.
Well, apart from someone like Katz or somebody who was a side pilot, but main Gundam pilot. And he ends up hooking up with the Ligue Militaire, which is kind of like the AU, right? There's no Earth Federation really anymore. Like they kind of exist, but they don't.
They exist in name, but
they're not really a thing. The Ligue Militaire has all the power. Well, all the power of guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, basically.
All the actual power is the not the Motorrad fleet, because that's who comes down. The Zanskare Empire.
Fucking Zanskare.
Fucking Zanskare. So ridiculous name. The mobile suit designs are crazy. It's like
They're
they're very Dunbine.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. They're very buggy Dunbine.
There's crazy bug eyes and just.
They're actually, I kind of like them.
I do too. I think they're really cool, but they're very like if you watched original Gundam and then you watch that, you'd be like,
what the fuck is this?
What happened? Especially if you watch like Zeta and then watch.
But
that,
then if you watch
Dunbine
Dunbine and then watch that, that's exactly.
Yeah, they're like, oh, now I get it. Now I understand. The Victory itself is a cool design, and I like the Victory 2. And the Victory 2 Assault Buster, which is in like one episode, is fucking amazing because it's just ridiculous.
Yes.
Giant shields and giant cannons all over the place.
Giant everything.
The other thing is it's weird because the Gundams are very mass-produced.
Yeah.
And no one abuses mass-produced Gundams more than Uso. He's just like, launch more legs for me because it's in 3 parts. It's legs, a torso with the arms, and then like the core fighter, which is the head and the other part of the torso, right? And they all conform together.
And they have tons of extras of each.
Yeah, tons of extras.
Which is bizarre for a Gundam show.
So it's just like, launch more legs, and he'll literally just toss legs. Like, have them shoot legs at frickin' enemy mobile suits.
Beat them with arms.
I don't know how they have these kind of resources. They do yell at him a couple of times. Like, dude, you can't just keep wasting these. What's wrong with you?
There's some weird way of making... Don't they have like that machine that just makes Gundam parts?
Yeah, they definitely, they allude to that. There's definitely some, like, automated manufacturing going on.
Yeah, there was definitely an episode where they were like, this machine just makes fucking Gundam parts. Like, oh, yeah. Whatever, dude.
You have to forgive us. It's been a little while, and it's a long series. It has one of the people I think I hate in all of Gundam the most, Katagina Luce. The fucking worst.
She's the worst, yeah.
At least, to quote the Joker, you get what you fucking deserve. And she gets what she fucking deserves.
Yeah, it was satisfying. That's all I'll say. She had a satisfying end.
Satisfying. I don't want to pour one out because I don't want to waste alcohol, but pour one out for the Shrike team. It just gets eviscerated every 5 seconds. Like, don't get attached to the Shrike team. Like, just don't.
Yeah.
They'll get new members. They'll just all die. Just don't worry about it.
They're just there to die.
Oh, also that one of my favorite scenes, one of the pilots who's the biggest dick, who like one of the Shrike team is holding up. There's like a catapult to get you up into space.
Yeah, they have like
not like a catapult like medieval, like a it's like a giant ramp.
A giant ramp. Yeah.
Yeah, with a rocket accelerator, and like part of it's falling down. So one of the Shrike team gets in their mobile suit and like. Holds it up. And as they're holding it up, one of the enemy pilots comes over. He's like, well, I could kill you and you can still hold that up for me. He just like beam sabers the cockpit. Like,
so brutal.
Such an asshole. So amazing. Zanskar has some amazing dicks. Now, I think the one part about... So there's 2 things that are very weird to me about Victory. One is... The Zanskar plot's kind of crazy. It's basically like turn the Earth into drooling retards.
Yeah, I still don't get it.
It's very strange, right? They're utilizing new types to...
And they have mechs that turn...
Lots of new types.
And they have mechs that turn to giant wheels, and they're going to roll parts of the Earth for
That's the other part. The mechs that, like... Or it's not even mechs. Well, they do have the mechs with the wheels that go around. Those are actually kind of cool. But they have giant ships that have wheels on the side that... They will just roll, and they decide to roll over Mexico first for some reason, because fuck Mexico.
Poor Mexico.
I don't know why, but that's what they decide.
Just picture it in your head, a giant ship with big, stupid, spiky wheels on the side, and they just, like, roll land flat for some reason.
For some reason. This is how they're going to cleanse the Earth. They're fucking maniacs. Like, they are the most...
Mental illness.
I will say, like, it's the most 70s...
It's very
super robot
very
villain that Gundam has got.
Robot, yeah.
Again, outside of the alternate Gundam universes. Like in the UC, this is the most like, old-timey super robot villain you're going to get.
Tomino just can't fucking help it. He just slides back into his old super robot
He does. It's also relentlessly depressing at times. Like Uso's mom, man, that is brutal.
Super brutal.
That is brutal. And it's a repeat. It's a half repeat from fucking Ideon.
Yes, definitely.
Right? So, yeah.
And why they're always like 20-year-old chicks creeping on Uso.
Yes, that's the other weird thing.
And it happens a lot.
Every girl in this is creeping on Uso, man. Every girl has a Shota fetish. Like that one girl who's like got him in the bath.
Yeah, and he's like,
what's that?
What is wrong?
He bites her directly on the titties and runs away. He's like, what is wrong? And that's the cool thing is Uso, like, he has no interest in this.
Yeah, he's
one, he already has like a basic, she's got Shakti, right? Like that's all he really cares about. And two, like they're not really old enough for like romantic relationship yet, right?
No.
Like it's just not. It's
Poor
not
Shakti.
there.
She just takes care of orphan kids all day.
I know. Shakti's awesome though, and she makes it. They don't kill the dog either because they're not that evil in this.
No Killer the Butcher time.
Oh God, put bombs in your friends. Let's see. And what was the other one? Oh, the ridiculous scene where like the girls get in their bikini squad. Like, we're gonna distract him. Like,
yeah, right. And he's just
12.
He's just like, nope, zang.
And then he just beam sharing this. Oh, and why is this Haro so awesome? So Gundam, we haven't talked about this too much, but pretty much every UC Gundam show, every main UC Gundam show has a Haro, right? And it's a varying degrees of why you would give a shit about having a Haro, right? So it's just this round ball that says Haro a lot. It's got some flaps on the side. It can grow a little,
it's like a little robot
arms.
pet thing.
Yeah, a little red robot eyes.
It's very Japanese.
It's not very sentient. It's just kind of a dumb toy most of the time. But not in fucking Victory Gundam, man.
In Victory, it pilots like the Victory. It does work.
At what point it pilots the Victory for like 10 seconds, like, or the Victory 2 actually. Like, what the hell? How? It's ridiculous. It's the best Haro ever. For some reason, it's super Haro. Like, it's got all the AI. I don't understand.
It's pretty funny though.
It's base as fuck. Yeah.
Somehow,
anyway,
Haro matters this time.
Victory Gundam. It's a weird one. It's strange. It's kind of. The only disappointing thing is when you get, like, if you're going to watch all the UC and this, you get to the quote-unquote end of your road, besides the stuff we're going to talk about, and this is what you get, it's just like, oh, man, really? This is the last thing I'm going to get? You really got to view it more like a bonus. Like, Unicorn and Narrative and now Hathaway are like...
That's the end.
Those are the real ends, right? Like,
and
as
they'll
they're
probably
expanding
stuff
out.
more shit in there as we, time goes
Exactly.
by.
But to me...
But yeah, like, fucking Victory means nothing.
Consider like Char's Counterattack or Unicorn. I would say Unicorn. Like, you don't even need to watch Narrative. Narrative's just a bonus. Like, to me, cut it off at Unicorn. Maybe add Hathaway once Hathaway's done, and you can do that.
Yeah, if all three Hathaways are good.
But to me, like, the tight UC timeline is watch through Unicorn. You're good. Everything else after that is a bonus right now.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Eventually, it may, like you said, it may all tie together and be good, and you might get some later stuff. But yeah, that's Victory. Do you have any other thoughts on Victory before we move on?
Nah. I mean, I finally watched it. Glad
the Blu-ray looks great.
Yes, it was cleaned up very nice.
They cleaned it up very... I mean, all the Blu-rays look pretty damn good.
It has funny shit in it. It's not like a total loss where I'm like, oh, man, I watched it.
But the Blu-ray for that's a lot cleaner than it is for, like, Double Zeta. Like, Double Zeta gets a little gnarly. Yeah.
Because it was already 90s animation.
Yeah, and I suspect Double Zeta was, like, early VHS recording, so just kind of gnarly.
Yeah, there's nothing
even Zeta has its issues.
that.
Anyway, the stuff that was on film, like, the original Gundam movies looked excellent.
Super good.
All right. That's the UC. Now let's talk a little bit about the post-UC UC shows.
Shit, yeah.
So the first one is Reconguista in G, which it takes place in the Reguild century, I believe, is what it's called. It's after the UC. Like, they tell you explicitly that the UC's over. We're out of the UC now. We are now in the Reguild century. It's 1,000 years later, thousands of years later,
basically
3,000 years later. It's a lot of thousands of years later.
It works because basically the the slide downward of humanity that you watched at the end, like in Victory and shit, just got so bad that, there was basically, widespread cannibalism and all this
It got terrible. It got really bad.
Yeah.
So then some assholes decided to set up in space and just be like, you know what? This is why you can't have nice things.
Pretty much.
We're just going to run everything, all your technology, what limited amounts will let you have, it's going to run on these, like, batteries, right? Mm-hmm. And we're the ones who provide them to you, so fuck off, right? Like, you will have no other technology. It's, like, forbidden to create any more really advanced technology, although they do it. And it's interesting because...
You're not going to stop people from gaining.
So you have, like, people on the Earth. You got a space elevator, right, that goes up into a really big, like, not even a traditional space colony. It's just a big, like, space station.
Why the fuck don't we have, like...
The space colony wreckage everywhere. I don't see any traditional, like, O'Neill cylinder space colonies. I don't remember seeing any.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'll have to rewatch it someday. I'll rewatch the movies or whatever they're doing.
I only watched half the series.
And then you have assholes on the moon. Right, so eventually you get to the moon. You see there's assholes on the moon. They have more advanced stuff than the Earth. So the Earth still has mobile suits that run on these batteries, but they're not super powerful. Like, this is one of those series where, like, if you had something like the Victory 2, you would just crush.
Yeah, piss through.
I think you would piss through most of the stuff in in G-Reco, right? Like, even if you had something like the new Gundam, I mean, new types, forget about it. Like, you know, you're not at that height of ridiculousness where, you know, it's just insane. So, you know, you follow around, what the hell is his name? Bellry. I was going to say Bell Cornell like it was freaking...
Yes. There's no dungeons in
Picking
this.
up girls in a dungeon, yeah. But, no, Bellry. And it's interesting, you know, there's a story about them, you know, a family story going on in the background. There's a cool story. They finally make it to, like, Venus 2 or whatever the hell it's called, which is just, like, the assholes that really make the batteries. They have this giant space colony with, like, an ocean in it. It's kind of cool. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff in it, right? Like, there's a lot of cool ideas. It's got Gundam flavor, but it's not very Gundam-like. You know, they're advancing technology when they're not supposed to. There's this weird, like, religious element going on. Like, there was basically a religion created to make them not create technology because the religion's like, no, that's against the religion. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, there's a war going on Earth. It's interesting, right? And there's a lot of side switching. It's hard to follow. It feels like there's missing bits. It's got a problem a lot of Tomino series, especially later Tomino series have. And, you know, a series like frickin' Brain Power really has. It almost feels like sometimes you've missed an episode.
It irritated me too much to even finish.
Yeah, I like it.
Because, like, shit happens. Like, characters will do something, you know, classic Tomino. Like, a character will just bust out and do something that's completely not in character for that character.
People be switching sides like they're fucking Big Show.
And then it's like...
All right?
Yeah, and then it's like, did I miss something? Like, there was an episode here where, like, suddenly this person has motivation to do that, but there isn't. It's just fucking poorly written crap.
There isn't. Yeah, I'm not as harsh on it as you are. I don't think it's as inconsistent as you, but
I have
it's missing
way less
bits.
tolerance for that, like, Tomino.
Yeah.
When he, like, gets wild and just starts, like, making people, like, characters
it's missing
do
bits.
shit.
But you know what? No final judgment can be given on the show until they come out with these
I watched
movies,
the movies,
OVAs, or whatever.
I was actually really excited when they said they were doing the movies because now I could just watch those. And
Yeah, and there's going to be new footage and you know, we'll see, and new story elements allegedly. So there's a good chance.
Yeah, they said they're going to, like, do more stuff, like, at the end.
Hopefully they don't screw it up like the Zeta one, but that was compressing down. Hopefully, I don't hate G-Reco. If it stays as is, it's okay. It's an interesting kind of show, but it's just kind of it's an anomaly in Gundam. You know, it's got some cool callbacks, I suppose. They have a potential to make it good, you know, make it very good. So we'll see. There's enough bones there. I'd say check it out if you want to check it out, but maybe wait for the movies to be out, OVAs to be out, and then check those out.
Yeah, I would. It'll waste less of your time.
I don't know. When they're all out, I'll watch them, and maybe we'll talk about it and let you know whether they're actually
we'll
good
talk
or not.
about it.
Oh, we deliver. All right. Skipping again ahead. Who knows how long, because now we're going to get to the correct century, which is Turn A Gundam.
That's the best century, the correct century.
A lot of people will argue Turn A Gundam is either the best Gundam show, which I don't agree with, or it's Tomino's best Gundam show, which I also don't agree with. But it's pretty damn good as a standalone show.
I don't dislike
it's a
it.
good show. So he did this way before G-Reco, but after Victory. Right, so I think he did this right after Brain Power.
It does have, like, the Victory flavor. Really?
I think he did this after Brain Power.
I thought it was before Brain Powered. When
I
did
don't think
come
so.
out?
2000.
Oh, wow, it's that new.
2010.
I didn't even know it was that new.
99.
Huh.
It's right after Brain Powered, I believe. I don't know. I could be wrong. Look it up. Double check me. Because he was doing, like, Garze's Wing before that. No one cares about that. Or no, Wings of Reen.
Wings of Reen.
No, Garze's Wing. That was the horrible OVA that was before that.
Oh, okay.
Wings of Reen was the later one.
Whatever, it's all
That was
trash.
that was after King Gainer, I believe. King Gainer's awesome, by the way. Check out King Gainer. Regardless, Turn A Gundam. It's a cool show. It's got a Miyazaki feel almost.
Yeah, it really does. It's odd.
A very almost Disney feel.
It's just the setting. It's in that, like, weird kind of feudal.
What the hell is the Dana Sorrell is the queen? What the heck is his what's the main pilot's name?
Don't fucking ask me.
Oh my
I
god.
haven't watched it in, like, 10 years.
Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren. Okay.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Lauren.
Man, I'm glad your brain works better than mine because I would have never figured that out. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, I have it on Blu-ray. I haven't rewatched it yet, so it's been 15 years since I've watched it. So
It's a lot of Gundam.
you'll have to
Takes
forgive
a while.
you'll have to forgive me the not being fresh in my mind. So maybe we will talk about the series again because it is kind of a standalone. I just wanted to briefly talk about it because it's a very interesting show. It's cool. It takes place way later. It actually alleges to, incorporate every Gundam timeline into it. All of them, including Wing Gundam. So people were all about Gundam Wing back in the day, and there's a guy, Coronander. My boy Coronander is just like, he's got PTSD from fighting the Wing Gundam, and
Really
it doesn't work out.
That's
well
like
for
one
him.
of the best characters.
Oh, Coronander's awesome.
the
He's got a
shit.
cool mobile suit. It's got Sid Mead. So the American sci-fi designer Sid Mead, who did like the designs for Blade Runner,
Yep.
did the designs for this, and they are fucking wild. Like, there are some crazy. Now there's some regular mobile suit designs too, because they dig up like Zaku's and stuff, and
Fucking mustache.
and they supplement Mead's designs, but you could tell Sid Mead's designs, like they're angular as hell. Like the sumo is really cool. The flat, like there is the Wadam. They're just weird looking mobile suits.
It made the show.
The Tournay's got a fucking mustache instead of a fucking V crest.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, and it's a cool design.
It's just really cool to have like somebody who is Japanese like do it.
Yeah, the Turn X is awesome.
I
Dude.
thought that was kind of metal.
Yeah, no, it's got some really cool designs. It's got that cool, Earth is at this point like a early 19th century, maybe early 20th century society.
Yeah, it was like kind of Victorian.
Yeah,
I said
like
feudal
Victorian.
before, but that's not what I meant. I meant like Victorian.
Well, it's got some of that feudal look, but just because, or not feudal, it's Victorian, almost that Renaissance look.
yeah,
but
that's what I meant. More of a Renaissance.
It's got a
look.
little bit of a Renaissance look, but it's definitely more of a Victorian setting.
Yeah, definitely.
Technology-wise, it's more Victorian because they have things like balloons and they have.
Yeah, man. They got
Do
fucking.
they have planes? I don't remember if they have just regular shitty planes, but
I don't remember.
it's been a while. I know they have cars and stuff.
They have
I
a lot
believe
of
so.
steam-powered trash.
Yeah, they have a lot of coal-powered, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But they keep digging up like mobile suits and shit and causing problems, and
Yeah.
it's not good.
It's the classic dig up a mobile.
And then
suit
the
series.
assholes that have been on the moon for forever and have all the technology, like all the old school technology, have they wake up out of their like hypersleep or whatever. Now they're like, we're gonna take over the Earth, and all sorts of chaos ensues.
Wackiness ensues.
The Turn X is an awesome design. The Moonlight Butterfly is
Yes.
crazy. So they get into crazy, terrifying nanite stuff in this. Like it's they have technology that's like way past any other Gundam show. Like even any of the expanded universe Gundam shows, except maybe G Gundam, because that doesn't play by normal rules. G Gundam is just crazy bullshit. But
Yeah, it is.
take G Gundam aside, the Turn A Gundam and the Turn X are the most advanced mobile suits.
Oh, by far.
All
yeah.
of Gundam. I mean, they're insane. Like they don't seem it in the regular show, but I mean, they are. It's nuts.
Yeah. In the context of the show, it doesn't.
It's
seem that
crazy.
wild,
Like,
but-
well, once you have Moonlight Butterfly, it's just crazy. It's just like nanite rape everything.
that doesn't sound pleasant at all.
It isn't. It really isn't. Unless you like that gray goo ending of the world, right? All the nanites kill you.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, Turn A.
That was a fun show.
Yeah, well, we'll watch it again at some point in the
That's a good
nearest future.
standalone one too. If you just
Yeah, you
wanna-
could just watch Turn A by itself as a cool kind of series to watch for sure. Yeah, so that's UC Gundam. Do you have any final thoughts on UC Gundam?
Final thoughts. It's more good than bad. Like I know.
Oh yeah, way more.
I know
good than
that
bad.
like it might sound like we were a little harsh on a few things, but it's way more good than bad.
even the stuff that's kind of mediocre, like Double Zeta, I enjoyed.
And we've watched a lot of this stuff 3 or 4 times, so we're just like nitpicking extra.
Mm-hmm.
But
Of course.
I would start watching it immediately if I were you.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Agreed. And it's all, I mean, you could stream it in a lot of places. It's kind of scattered in the streaming. So, stream away. You could also, if you're a guy who likes physical media, Right Stuff has all the series on Blu-ray.
Everything.
All of them. I mean, as someone who's been watching this stuff for, 20 plus years, that's unheard of. Like,
Yeah, it
you
was always
just-
hard to find.
Always hard to find, but they have everything. It's great. All right. So that's a nice segue.
Now that we've gotten you into Gundam.
Yeah. I want to talk about just a little bit about kind of the handling of continuity and the handling of franchises, between the U.S. and Japan. And, specifically Gundam, which we just talked about, versus Star Wars. And we'll talk a little bit about something like James Bond, got a new movie out, right? No Time to Die, except there's a lot of time to die. And Lupin the Third, right? Because people always go Go-Go, but Go-Go's... They haven't done anywhere near as much with Go-Go as they've done with Lupin.
Not even close.
And Lupin has way more of a James Bond feel to it.
Yeah.
They both have elements of it. The settings, like everything is...
And how much they've
James
been
Bond.
recycled. You know what I mean?
Yes. So...
It's more fitting for our topic.
Anyway, in the US, we seem to have this issue where... And I get it for live action stuff. It's harder. You got to recast people. So, understood. But even for animated stuff, like, where's my... One, we are way too obsessed with remakes, right? Let me remake it and tell the same story again.
Which is fucking pointless 90%
Japan
of the time.
Is smarter about this. Not always, because sometimes they do it. But a lot of times, there's not a remake. Like, you can brand it the same way and just tell a completely different story. Even though it's going to have elements of it. Like, look at Gundam. How many other Gundam shows are there? Gundam Wing, Gundam X. Well, Gundam X is probably the most too similar. Although post-apocalyptic Gundam's kind of cool. G Gundam, which is the most wacky, like...
But they're all basically
Iron-Blooded
at their
Orphans.
core that same... Like, even IBO, the same fucking Gundam story.
Same kind of core and same kind of themes, but not trying to tell the same exact story. Like, none of them try to just tell you the Amuro story again, right? They don't do that. So that's good, right? Whereas... in the US, it's just like, well, let me reboot it. Let me just do it again. Let me do the same thing again. Like, stop.
You can only get away with that shit if it was something that needed special effects back in the day, and they can do them now, but that's so rare.
And then if they do decide to continue something, right, they fuck it up. It's like, oh, here's He-Man. We're going to do more He-Man. Oh, what is this garbage? Like,
Listen,
yeah, it looks pretty.
He-Man didn't really need to be continued.
No. And that's another problem. But, like... Japan, I think, does a much better job of like, hey, we're going to continue something, and they continue it, and it's like, oh, this at least feels like the original thing. Like, the themes aren't all screwed up. They actually give a shit about the story, and they give a shit about the continuity.
Oh, definitely.
Bit, right?
Well, they care about franchises and not, like, shitting on them.
Like, you watch Unicorn, which came out in, 2015? I think the last episode came out. I think it started in, like, 2010, whatever. Regardless, I think the last episode was 2015, 2016. Look how much slavish... continuity there is in that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Callbacks to MSVs, callbacks to random mobile suits that are in like one episode of Double Zeta. Like,
yeah, it is hilarious.
The whole it all fits together. And look,
that's what people love about Gundam.
Something as big as that, yeah, there's going to be some inconsistencies. Of course there are. But they don't feel intentional, and they're not big. They're not huge.
They don't jump out at you.
No. Yeah. And we just do such a bad job of that. So my point of comparing Gundam to Star Wars, because Gundam was always the Star Wars Japan, is Star Wars does just a bad job of that. Like, why couldn't you have just, instead of trying to do more Skywalker stuff or this, that, expanded universe, man, the old expanded universe, you could have adapted that shit for forever. Like, stupid Disney flushed it all down the toilet, and then, Dave Filoni was like, are you idiots? We're going to use a lot of this. We're going to use Thrawn. We're going to use this stuff.
Those books are so popular, too.
That's the thing. People loved it, right? So Japan would have taken all of that and just started animating it, started doing live action series for it.
Yep.
Well, that's what Disney would have done. But you know what I mean? Like, it's a fucking gold mine. It's a gold mine of material that people already like, that people have read, consumed, and enjoyed. So it can succeed.
It's a slam dunk.
But no. We got to get the story group, which are fucking incompetent to go do something.
Mm-hmm.
It's awful. They just can't handle it.
Well, they're just making shit up. It's not even, none of it's really
and
canon.
It's competent. Let's leave the agenda shit aside, even though there's a lot of agenda shit that goes on. They just are not competent. They're not capable of it. Apart from, Favreau and Filoni and that crew, right? No one else is competent to do any of this.
At least Star Trek has their incompetency timeline.
Oh my god,
it's
the Kelvin timeline of stupidity.
Yeah, it's just the incompetence timeline. Like, we're just gonna fucking shit our pants.
So you see that. So then, I bring up James Bond as well. So James Bond, to me, is a franchise that's been handled a lot better. Now, it's not great. It's got a lot of schlocky stuff going on. But you know what? You mostly knew what you were gonna get.
Yeah, at least it was funny.
Right? And to me, it was one of the more... it was handled more like some of the Japanese stuff, like Lupin, where you don't address the fact that this shit started in the 50s, 60s, or 70s or whatever. Who cares? It just keeps going forward. It's fine. You don't worry about it. You could talk about past events, but much like the Marvel.
There's never any like James Bond continuity, really.
The Marvel comic book universe, same thing. Yeah, well, every once in a while something would happen, like Roger Moore would reference his wife, even though that was George Lazenby who had the wife. Like, doesn't matter, right? Like, you could do those things, and even when you got up to Dalton or Pierce Brosnan, right? Like,
yep.
You could reference that. It's fine. Like, oh, I was married once. Like, even though there's no way that now that it's 40 years later.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
You get what they were getting to, and
you don't address it. You take the trappings of the thing. You do that. You maybe have some continuity within the movies with the same actor, and then you just move on.
Yeah.
Right now,
because it's mostly fluff anyway.
They've
never any real backstories.
They've gone too far, and the new ones have become less fun because they went too far with continuity. Like, they shouldn't have tried to do that.
It's kind of funny. It's like, usually I would respect them for having tight continuity, but in that case, you're right. It just doesn't really work.
Whereas something like Lupin doesn't bother to have tight continuity because it doesn't need to.
James Bond isn't supposed to have a lot of like baggage.
Well, he's supposed to have baggage, but not that kind of baggage.
He's supposed to have very specific baggage that makes him a crazy drunk, but like, he's not supposed to have like 5 movies of baggage. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, he's supposed to have like existential baggage. Kind of.
Yes. Non-specific. Like, I've seen some shit baggage. Not. Yeah. Oh my God, I have specific PTSD for all these things.
From these things that happened 3 movies ago. It's like, no, man, that's not what I want on James Bond.
No. So I don't know. This is a little rambly, but I always felt that a lot of U.S. franchises did a bad. Not that James Bond's it's part of U.S. franchise, more of a British franchise, but Western franchises, let's say, did a poor job of handling continuity and capitalizing on those things than the Japanese did, right?
Correct.
Especially with anime. Again, we were talking most about anime, but honestly, they did in live action tokusatsu stuff as well. Like, let me just do Power Ranger series all the time. Let me do Kamen Rider. Let me do some crossover movies. Like, that's fun.
Yep.
They remember fun. Like, that's. James Bond series did a good job of that for forever. And like, James Bond, Lupin, it was very similar with
Say what you want about the Pierce Brosnan movies. They weren't the greatest, but at least they were entertaining. Like, they were chuckle.
GoldenEye was fantastic.
Yep.
I mean, GoldenEye is one of the better Bond movies
overall. Probably. It is kind of the classic of our generation anyway.
And then I don't think any of the other ones are really any good.
Nah,
like,
they're pretty weak.
I would watch them again, and I wouldn't hate myself. Like, they're all entertaining enough. Even freaking... the hell was that stupid one with North Korea and
oh shit, I don't even remember the title.
Madonna did the theme song way past her prime. I don't remember. A Time to Kill. No, wait, that's John Grisham, isn't it? Whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's
the reason you forgot it is because it wasn't that good.
Yeah, I don't know. There was that one with Denise Richards and the freaking like stealth boat.
Yes. Night boat.
There's a lot of weird shit. Boat. And the one with Jonathan Pryce. Jonathan Pryce is awesome, but it's just like, and Michelle Yeoh, there's just like, I'm going to type you to death.
Yeah, that never works.
Sure, I guess. I don't know. I could go on about James Bond all day.
But Lupin did it better.
No, I don't know if...
Lupin continues to do it better.
Yes, Lupin continues to do it better now because they didn't kill the golden goose.
Nope.
I think is my point. Even though there's been times of dormancy for Lupin.
I just like that I think last run of Lupin where they've kind of updated it. Like that fucking...
they've done an excellent job. Part 5 and part 6 coming up. Part 4 and part 5.
Which really one good. Was it where like there was like that internet game to find Lupin?
I think that was part 5.
Like that was actually modern and relevant, but it felt Lupin. You know what I mean?
It worked. They did a good job of
really good. I was super impressed because I never expect much out of Lupin because it's Lupin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they did a good job of going back and doing random episodes in there that were callbacks. Like, he's got his like pink jacket on. Oh, he's got the red jacket. Oh, he's got the
80s Lupin.
He's got the blue jacket now. Oh, he's got the green jacket. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You gotta get all your Lupin jackets straight. I think my point is like I'm comparing and contrasting where like Lupin and James Bond I think have a lot of parallels and similar paths and they were handled kind of similarly. Yep. So it shows that the West can do it and has done it.
Yep.
But something like Star Wars, they just fucked up. They fucked it up.
So high.
Star Trek too, but we won't get into that. Like you could have done something very similar and monetize the shit out of it. and done stuff that was somewhat in the same continuity, maybe in the same continuity. You don't even have to address whether it is or not. Who cares? If it's not in the main timeline, like, you can play fast and loose, man. It's a whole fucking galaxy. What's wrong with you?
Star Wars was all weird ego bullshit.
Like, you have UC Gundam, which has to be tightly knit and connect together. I get that. Even that has time skips where you can disconnect, like F91 and Victory. But, like, there's so many other Gundam shows. You can watch Gundam Wing, and it has nothing to do with the UC. There's no baggage. Just watch it. And it's got a lot of the same looks, a lot of the same themes, but you can watch it as a self-contained show. Like, it's just smarter. Like,
same themes.
Exactly. It's just smarter. And you could find what you like, and you could pick what you like out of it. And then you could get away with doing all kinds of different shows, and no one would be mad at you. Like, Disney could do like a goddamn romance show, and they could do this show and that show, and no one would care because it's just like, this one's good, this one's bad. I just won't watch this. I'll watch this. But instead, it's like, no, this is all main continuity. It all like affects everything. Like, no,
it's too much work, man.
Stop it. You're screwing it up. Do Star Wars Visions. We talked about it last week. Do Star Wars Visions where you can just do wacky shit.
And how the fuck long does it, like,
fine.
Everybody liked The Mandalorian, but it's like in fucking production hell forever. It takes forever to make. It's like, oh God, you should have done you should have had 40 episodes that out by now and like 5 spin-offs.
Well, or different shows. And you could have different budget levels. Not everything's got to be as pretty as The Mandalorian. You could do more compact shows where you do old tricks, man. They did like 20-something episodes of Star Trek a season. I could figure it out, Disney. Jesus Christ.
I thought it was kind of a waste almost to make The Mandalorian that pretty. It should have been just like shitty old like practical effects, like gunfighter style.
Right?
I would enjoy it.
Listen, I liked it as pretty, but
yeah, I mean, I'm not.
But you could have done more of it. You could have made.
Yeah, you could. Like I said, you could have had 40 episodes out by now, and like 3 spinoffs.
They're doing a better job on the animated side. I think Filoni has more to do with that. At least you had like Bad Batch that they came out with, and they did more Clone Wars stuff. They had although the middle of that season was weak. But the season itself was good, and the end was fucking phenomenal. Yes, and then, what the hell else did they do? They had Rebels before. So, I mean, they've been doing somewhat of a better job there, but do more. And they have Visions now, but just do better. Disney, do better. Mm-hmm. All right, we'll stop bitching about Disney now. Since we were talking about Lupin, I think it's time.
Yep. It's time to slide right into the Castle of Cagliostro.
Castle of Cagliostro. So this is 1979, I believe. Mm-hmm. Hayao Miyazaki, your boy Miyazaki directed it and wrote it. This is this his first feature film? I think it is.
I think it is, yeah.
Pre-Ghibli, pre-Studio Ghibli. And it's a Lupin movie. So Miyazaki, a lot of people know and a lot of people don't know, got his start directing a bunch of Lupin episodes, I mean, he did other stuff too, but he directed a lot of Lupin episodes, especially in Lupin Part 2. So he did a Lupin movie. And if you don't know Lupin the Third, no, it's not that stupid Netflix thing. Lupin the Third is theoretically the
Arsène Lupin the Third.
Yeah, Arsène Lupin the Third. He's the great grandson, whatever, of Arsène Lupin, the famous French thief from the 1800s, right, or early 1900s, either way. And it's from a manga by Monkey Punch, which they did. That was in the 60s. I think that 60s or 70s originally came out. Yeah, it's pretty old. And there's been series that have gone. There's Part 1, Part 2. Both of those, Part 1 and Part 2, were out before this movie came out.
It was like 1 million episodes.
Million episodes of Part 2. Part 1's kind of short, 26 episodes ish, I think. Maybe there's more. Regardless, there's a lot of Lupin. Since then they did Part 3, 4, and then more recently, Part 3 in the 80s, and then Part 5 and 6 were later. So when I said about dormancy, Lupin had like a long period where there was no series. Like they always did like OVAs
they did
and
TV movies and stuff.
Yeah, tons of like hour and a half like OVAs, movies, whatever else. You got them constantly.
Yeah, if you ever want to kill some fucking time, man, there's like,
and they're all standalone.
Shit ton of standalone Lupin.
You just watch them. Most of them are good. Most of them are entertaining.
There's a few stickers, but there's
a few stickers. Some like fun. Island of Mamo, which was the first one. Like it's good until it gets to the end. You're like, what the fuck? And then
everybody really likes that one. I don't
Golden Palace, Golden Dragon. What the hell's the one we just watched? Terrible. Oh my God, that one was terrible.
Oh yeah, that one was bad.
It was awful. They hadn't brought it over here for a reason, I think.
Yeah, right.
But most of them are pretty good, like Dragon of Destiny or whatever. That one was great.
Yep.
Yeah, anyway,
they vary.
Lupin, if you're not familiar, so Arsène Lupin, we already talked about him. So he's your, gentleman thief. He's got that a little bit of a James Bond look going on, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, he wears like a suit.
not really, but
Kinda.
yeah, a little.
He wears a suit jacket.
Where's it? Yeah, that's right. He's got his suit jacket, different colors throughout the years. Again, green in the original, red in part 2, green again in this movie. Pink in the 80s because it's the fucking 80s, so of course.
I guess.
And then in 4 and 5, it's blue.
Yeah.
Although again, there's episodes in part 5 at least that
Yeah, they're like flashbacks.
you know that they must be older episode, flashbacks to previous eras because he's got different color jacket on. So it's a nice visual cue explaining to you, when things are happening.
It is convenient.
It is convenient. Anyway, green jacket Lupin in this one. You also have Daisuke Jigen, who's always with him. So ridiculous, half American, half Japanese with his he looks like a gangster, right? He's got
the slouch hat.
the slouch hat, like a very gangster look. He's got a awesome 357 Magnum revolver, or it might be a 44 Magnum. Sorry, Lupin super
I think
fans.
it's a 44 mag. Actually.
Yeah, he's got a ridiculous revolver.
It's gonna be a 44 mag because that was the biggest gun at the time.
Crack shot. I don't know. Crack shot.
You never
sniper.
You never see his face because the hat's always over.
Yeah, you almost never see his eyes. His hat's never off.
He's got a giant beard. So
yeah, he's got that goatee going on.
There's very little features there.
Very cool. But him and Lupin are always, getting into capers, stealing stuff, and that's how it starts. Their
team.
They steal a whole bunch of money
from a casino in Monaco.
Yeah. Monaco? Monte Carlo?
Monaco.
It was Monaco. Regardless, they steal a bunch of freaking money, and then Lupin realizes it's fake, right? But he realizes it's the really good fakes, right? It's the what do they call that? It's shoot, I can't remember what the specific name of it is. The specific bills have a name, but it's a specific type of fake bill. So there's this legend in the thieving world, the criminal underworld, right? Of like super fakes, like super counterfeits, right?
The best counterfeit of all money, like American dollar.
Yeah, there's American dollars. There's
yen.
There's yen. There's they find
pounds,
won,
whatever,
pounds, lira. This is back before euros, right? So all the various European currencies, francs, like they have everything, right? So they end up ditching the money, and then Lupin's like, screw it, let's go figure this out, right? Like, let's go do it. And as the movie goes on, you find out that he did this once before when he was way younger in his career and he screwed it up, and he almost got himself killed. Yeah, so he's going back to do it again, and they run into a princess, right, who's getting chased by a bunch of thugs. Once they get to Cagliostro, the Duchy of Cagliostro, or whatever the hell it's called,
like
the county of Cagliostro.
It's basically Liechtenstein.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those theoretically, it's a fake tiny European nation,
like city states.
Yeah, exactly, old city states. And they go there to try to figure it out, and they see this woman get chased, and he goes to help him out. Now Lupin's always got a ridiculous tiny Fiat or whatever, and him and Jigen are in it, and they do some ridiculous stuff.
Car chase ensues.
Yeah, and it's cartoonish. You got to understand that it's going to play by cartoon rules for sure.
Oh yeah,
it's not super wacky cartoon rules, but it's definitely
they drive up the side of mountains.
Yeah, yeah. There will be some semblance of physics, but it's Ghibli physics. Right?
You got to stretch, man.
Not that this is Ghibli. Anyway, they end up saving the girl. He ends up saving the girl, but then she gets kidnapped again, like immediately, and taken away on this ridiculous boat. And then he and Jigen, go to figure this out, right? They're going to go figure it out. And along the way, they run into all the other cast of characters from Lupin. So you got Goemon Ishikawa, the 14th, I think I can't remember what number he is, but the most ridiculous thing, like he just walks around.
Classic Japanese samurai.
In Japanese samurai gear. Although he's, I think, weren't they ninjas technically? Whatever, we won't get into that. He's walking around in his samurai gear. He's got the sword that's in like the wooden, it looks like a wooden cane, but it's a sword. So very Zatoichi in that regard. He's got the big straw hat, right, and the ridiculous haka pants, whatever the hell those things are called, hammer pants.
Right.
and the gi or the tunic, whatever the heck it is. So sorry, I'm a weeb. I'm not that much of a weeb. So yeah, they run into him. Cool character. He can basically cut anything. It's ridiculous. His sword is like magic.
Yeah, he cuts some weird shit.
You run into fucking Fujiko Mine.
Classic Fujiko.
The worst. So a female thief, a thiefess. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a difference.
Who is always up to no good. And always, on again, off again, love interest.
She basically is always on Lupin's coattails, like trying to scam the same thing. She basically follows him to whatever he's doing, and then like snatches it out of his possession.
And occasionally she's there before him, but like, she's always at the thing that's going to be the most interesting, and Lupin is obviously going to go deal with.
Yeah.
And she's always there to like steal the treasure at the end and be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Like,
she basically lets Lupin do all the like heavy lifting, and then gets the treasure.
Yeah. But she's super competent in her own way. Like, don't sleep on Fujiko, man. She's not to be messed with. She's not as ridiculous as Lupin is, but she's pretty ridiculous. Then you got
she's always got hand grenades.
Zenigata.
Zenigata.
Freaking Zenigata. So
Pops.
Interpol agent. He shows up with like, I don't know, like 100 freaking cops.
He has like an army of Interpol
and he's just endlessly chasing Lupin, trying to arrest him. And,
yes, throughout every series. That's just the thing.
And failing forever because, of course, he is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of those things too, where like, invariably, there's going to be something worse going on than Lupin being there.
Pretty much every movie.
So there'll always be some begrudging cooperation between Zenigata and Lupin's crew, but then he never gives up. It never matters. He always like tries to arrest Lupin every chance he gets. Like, it's ridiculous. So anyway, you got the girl he's got to go save. They got to figure out what's going on with the banknotes, and then the current regent of Cagliostro. So the count isn't alive anymore, and the daughter, who would be the heiress, the princess, whatever you want to say. The kingdom's being held in regency, and there's a regent, and he's a total dick, just like Denethor and Lord of the Rings, right?
And he wants to marry
her,
so he's legit.
And there's some history there. I won't spoil that bit, but there's some history there that explains all this stuff. Anyway, I won't talk anymore about the plot. What do you think? What do you think about Castle?
Oh God, I love it. I could watch it 1,000 times. First of all, I just want to like shout out that the 4K release they just released is fucking amazing.
It's gorgeous. It has every dub you could possibly want. Every audio track,
every sub, like because they did it like 3 different times or something. Oh man, it's so good.
There's the Japanese original track. There's a Japanese like remastered 7 point whatever track. There's an English track with the.
There's the original 90s dub, and then there's like a 2000 dub, I think.
Yeah, the 2000 dub is the one I remember. There's like a 90s dub, a 2000 dub, and then there's subtitles. There's new subtitles, or newer subtitles, and there's subtitles from the original theatrical release in like 79 or 80.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's got every option you could buy, and you could turn the subtitles off entirely and watch it just in Japanese if you want, like, which some stuff they don't let you do because Japan's very protective about that.
Yeah.
It's a very well put together 4K.
And it's fucking gorgeous.
Blu-ray. It looks really good. I mean, one, it's freaking Miyazaki, so it's gonna,
yes,
look good.
Animation is good.
But the designs are great. Like, it's just great.
Fucking classic story. I mean, you can't ask for anything more. Like, it's like so Miyazaki, just like a classic. It's kind of funny that he jammed all that classic, like, Miyazaki shit.
Yeah,
into
he did.
Movie. Like,
there's like Castle in the Sky elements here.
Oh yeah, it's like a ridiculous Disney castle that the whole thing takes place around.
Oh yeah.
Like a princess locked up in a tower. Like, you can't get any.
Oh yeah, classic fairy tale stuff, right?
Yeah, it's fucking great.
And Lupin is the gentleman thief, and he never. You know what I noticed in this? Lupin never used his gun.
Nah, he didn't.
Never. It gets lasered late in the movie.
Yeah, he didn't even barely pull it out.
He never uses it. His P-38, which is interesting because Lupin's always popping caps at people.
He's always capping.
He doesn't mess around. But I thought that was interesting. It's a very Miyazaki touch. Like, the main character is supposed to be like the gentleman thief, so he doesn't have to do that.
He does have an axe at one point, but whatever.
It's got some gruesome deaths. They don't show them to you, but my God, people getting crushed.
Yes.
I mean, there's some Temple of Doom.
Yeah, they don't
the
fuck
blood.
around with that. And there's that whole dungeon scene where it's just like people that got like
just
horrific
skeletons
murdered.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's got that little bit of edge, which is good.
It's good that they establish how big of a shit that like, that whole family was and everything.
But like Mononoke has that. Like Miyazaki movies don't shy. Nausicaa does. Like they don't shy away from that. He always has a little bit of that in there because it's classic fairy tale kind of stuff too, right? Like
that's what I was getting at. It has a very fairy tale feel.
Oh yeah, it does. It's just I'm with you. It's just a classic. It's just a classic story. Like it's good. It's interesting.
Well written, well executed.
You have good characters because you have all the classic Lupin cast, which those are all excellent characers. Like,
Oh yeah, they cover all the bases. Why Goemon is there, I have no idea. I love
Goemon's there to cut shit occasionally.
I love that Goemon's there just to have a Japanese character. Like that's basically his only job. Because in Lupin is like what fucking Italian.
Yeah, I mean, I think they hint that he might be part Japanese all the time.
Jigen's part Japanese.
He's pretty much half Japanese, half American.
Yeah. But I think Goemon's job is basically just to be a
ridiculous stereotype samurai guy. Like
he is awesome.
And
he's not there all the time either. They basically just call him in for like.
No, that's a common thing in Lupin. Like it's 99% of the time it's going to be Lupin in Jigen, right?
Yeah,
like,
always.
Those are the two together. The Zenigata is always going to show up, and then occasionally you'll get Fujiko, and then occasionally you'll get Goemon. I mean, you get all of them because it's. I mean, you got to do it, right? It's a big movie here. But they're great characters, and it's well written. Like it's
great.
The princess is endearing. Like it's just
classic.
You dislike the people you should dislike. You like the people you like. There's no real gray area. I mean, yeah, Lupin's a thief, but he's not an asshole.
He's very chivalrous.
Yeah, he's not. And the stuff he steals is always ridiculous. Like, museum crap. I mean, it's not Carmasago, but it's, like he's stealing from a casino. You're like, do I really care? Like, it's never like, he's not stealing from the poor here. It's very Robin Hood, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not that he's giving to the poor. Well, he does, because when he finds those counterfeit bills that no one else is going to catch but him, he just throws them out and gives them to people.
Yeah. If you're in the car behind him,
it's vibrant. Like the color palette's good. It's just, it's got that Disney feel, which it should, because it's, Miyazaki, Proto Ghibli.
I would stick this in like anybody's just rotation of good animated movies, like, anime or otherwise.
And it's got some slightly adult stuff, but I mean, you could show this to pretty young kids and they would enjoy it.
I mean, you got a little bit of violence, but nothing crazy.
No, like, it's, I don't know if I'd show it to like a 5-year-old. Although, I'm kind of broken. You're being a kid from the 80s. Like, you saw some stuff that you shouldn't have been allowed to see.
I saw RoboCop in the theater.
Exactly, right. So, but I mean, you could. Like, it's a movie you could show your, like, 8-year-old, and it wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
It's a great freaking movie. I mean, I don't know. I mean, to me, it's on that same tier as, like, something like Princess Bride, right? Like, it's really good, man.
Yeah, I would put it up that high. Like, I can't really say enough good stuff about it.
No, it's excellent. And the dub, so this time we watched it subbed, but, I've watched at least the 2000 or 2002 dub a bunch of times. It's a great dub.
Yeah, it is.
It's really good.
It's like, American animated movie tier.
You wouldn't think that Solid Snake as Lupin would work. David Hayter, but it works, man. He does an excellent job. It's good.
No, it's really good.
It's good. So I don't know. I mean, obviously watch it. It's freaking awesome. Unless you really hate Miyazaki, like
which very few people do. So.
I mean, it's a perfect introduction to Lupin the Third in general. Like,
Definitely.
Don't watch hundreds of episodes of stuff. Watch this. I mean, you could also watch. There's a new series coming out. You could just watch episodes of that. But
it's completely standalone. Yeah. So.
Yeah, standalone, just like pretty much all of them.
Yep.
It's awesome. I don't know.
Nothing else to say.
Nothing else to say.
I go on about it forever.
Watch it. There's an awesome 4K release out.
It's definitely streaming somewhere.
It's probably streaming somewhere. I would say just pick up the 4K. Like, you're not going to regret having this in your collection. You're just not.
And I can't even imagine anyone not liking this movie.
If they don't, they probably don't have a soul.
Yeah. I know one person, but that's it. Anyway, until next time.
Well,
that's all for today, everyone. We'd like to thank all of you for tuning into another episode of the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour. Please remember to like and subscribe, and may your entertainment be always, well, entertaining.